Well, I'm at it again. So I picked up some ducklings today for work, and the lady there had an aviary, and she had Chinese painted quail in the bottom. And I've got 3, but they're all boys, and they've been plucking each other, so I've had to separate them all out into separate runs. And she had all these eggs at the bottom, so I said to her, you know, can I buy some eggs off you to hatch? And she responded with, oh, just have them. So I've now got 30 unrelated, which is also quite nice, Chinese painted quail eggs in the incubator. I'm about to pop them in. They only take 15-16 days. Now, she had no idea how long they'd been lying around. She just, you know, as we all do, she just got lazy in picking them up, and quails don't brood them, so they just laid in the bottom of the aviary. So most of these probably aren't viable, but they're free. And what the heck, I need some females. So I've got 30 eggs. I don't have proper partitions, so as you can see I've made cardboard struts, and then with the smaller eggs, because they're not big enough to kind of fill the struts out and keep everything in position, I then put tape on as well, and that just keeps everything from rolling around when the incubator rocks from side to side. But yeah, that is yet more stuff going on at Brimwood Farm, which I wasn't expecting to do, but it's nice that I can hatch out some of these, and hopefully I can get 3 hens. I can give one, oh no, I can get 6 hens, and I can put 2 hens with each rooster, and then I'll have 3 trios, which should be really nice. So I'm just taking you on a bit of a watering tour, and I have to admit that weather is winning this year against me. It's so dry here. We are not used to this in the UK. So when you hear all of us Brits moaning about the weather, that it's too hot, it's humid, we don't have aircon, and we haven't had rain in over 40 days, and that is very unusual. So I'm fighting a bit of a losing battle when it comes to the garden. I also only have a watering can to water. There are only 2 taps in my house, and neither of them fit a hose properly. So I don't have a hose that I can do anything with, so I only have the watering can, which is, as you can imagine, trying to water an entire garden with a watering can is an absolute nightmare. A couple of things are thriving, so things that have been put in the shade and have established a little bit, so the euphorbia is okay still, although I wouldn't say it's thriving, it's surviving. This dahlia has done alright, that dahlia is not alright at all. The daylilies, again, dead, and you can see how dry this soil is. It's bone dry. And even when you water it, you can't get it wet. Again, the best way to water is not often, small but often, but it's actually a massive drench, you know, once a week or whatever. But I can't do that without a hose, so I'm having to water little and often, which isn't the best for the plants, but I'm just literally trying to keep things alive. You can see here, look at this brunnera. So wherever you are in the world, I hope you have some water and you have some rain, because my garden is dying. Meet Ralph, everyone! So I know what you're thinking. I always said my first ever rabbit were going to be meat rabbits. And Ralph is definitely not a meat rabbit. Ralph is a dwarf lop Dutch cross, I think. I don't really know my rabbits. But Ralph needed a new home. He's actually from work. He needed a new home because we needed his hutch space for something new for the summer. But I couldn't find Ralph a home in time, so Ralph came home with me, with the idea of him being rehomed by me. The problem is, Sard has kind of fallen in love with Ralph, and I quite like Ralph too. So I think Ralph is staying as a non-meat, non-food pet rabbit, which kind of strains my heart to say that, but at the same time, look at Ralph! So at the moment he's actually in a box, in a dog crate. We open the door and he comes running around in the daytime, and then he just gets shut back in here. He spends most of his time in his box. He quite likes it in here. But that is Ralph the rabbit. I'm going to be reading up on rabbits now, because I honestly don't really know much about them, other than he's cute and I wanted to save him. So this is Ralph. Today I am planting out some of this lovely red-leafed or red-veined sorrel, and there's a few parsley plants here. Now this really should be a lovely tray of leafy greens waiting to go out, but I'm afraid having an absolutely full-time job, plus so 50 plus hours a week, plus having the weather conditions as they are right now, I have lost a few things just because they dry up and they just don't thrive. The other thing is they're going to go in this border next to these salad bowl red lettuces. Now I was supposed to be filling the rest of this with salad bowl red, but again it's so hot, as you can see here, lettuces are just bolting, they are going. So I'm going to fill the rest of this space with red veined sorrel, and if and when we get some blimmin' rain, I'm then going to reassess what I'm growing for autumn, so spinach and things like that. But for now, I'm just going to get these little plugs out, put them in some nice rows here, and just fill this gap. And then it's one less thing I need to worry about watering in the conservatory, and I can just water this whole bed in one go. And it's very nice. So it's got to the stage now where it does need to be put out. As you see, I have got a major whitefly problem this year. It's been an absolute nightmare. We just have to make do, don't we, and try and do our best. So I'm going to get those out today. So last week you discovered that we had some surprise chicks, and it was a complete surprise to me and probably to you guys because we weren't intending these chicks at all. Now I did have to separate them, so there were 3 hens, and those 3 hens all got so protective over the babies we had a few fatalities. They actually pecked one chick to death. Another one, as it was hatching, got pecked and killed, and then another one they actually attacked as it was actually hatching, and they damaged its wing. I did manage to take that egg away, hatch it, and it's now recovering. The other thing is I had some silkies hatching out as well at the same time, and I couldn't leave them in the same coop, so I took those eggs and I shoved them under the hen. And it is amazing that they can tell the difference. So I did have the silky babies in this little box with the mum and these other chicks, but she knew which were her babies and which weren't, and she just started to peck those other little babies mercilessly, so they again have been removed. So there's 13 in all, 13 surprise chicks, 3 silkies, one other little runty baby that she also wouldn't accept, and then the other 9 are in here with her, and she's taking really, really good care of them. As for now, those 3 silky chicks and the little runty one are actually in with the second Reeves chick, which, by the way, isn't looking great. I don't know what's happened. Maybe it was so hot, it got dehydrated or something, but it seemed to have a couple of strokes yesterday. It is still with us, and I'm kind of drip feeding it some water at the moment, but it's not looking great, so if it dies, do not be surprised. But for now, here is the surprise chicks with very protective mum and 9 of the babies. I have some beans. So the first beans on my bean trough, which is up the fence into the trellising, is starting to produce a few beans, which is very good because last year I got nothing. My beans were an utter failure. They got slugged, and then last summer it was really wet, so everything got slugged and then drowned, which is the complete opposite to this year. I like these little dwarf beans as well because they have some pretty flowers. So I've got a couple of varieties. There's one with a little yellow flower and there's one with a little purple flower, and they've now got to the stage where they are, oh, that one's doing very well. They are climbing right to the top of the trellising, so they're going to start covering this trellising soon. So I'll have beans dropping down, but well, this one's doing well as well. You can see all these spindly bits. So if I stand back, you remember what it was like, and so they are coming up. I don't know what happened to these middle 2. They haven't done so well. Something's happened there. But obviously the ones at each end have done quite well. But I'm just thrilled to see that I have a few little beans coming through that I can start picking. Well, as you know, earlier in the week I put the first batch of those Chinese painted quail eggs in that I got given for free. So they are in here. But you can clearly see that these eggs at the front are not Chinese painted quail eggs, nor are they chicken eggs, because these are duck eggs. Now ducks are messy and ducks are a pain, and do I really want more ducks? Probably no, but these are a critically endangered rare breed species of duck which I discovered which fit with the ethos of Brimwood Farm. So they were actually created by the same guy that created the Ixworth chicken. And these are silver appleyards. So they're a rare breed, critically endangered, sort of dual-purpose duck. They produce eggs and they produce meat. They're silver appleyards. They are beautiful. So I have got 12 eggs. Now, I could only fit 10 eggs into this incubator. So I have popped the other 2 for now in here. Now, duck eggs take 28 days to hatch, and these little quail eggs only take 15 or 16. But the reason for me just popping them in there for now is because these were sent through the post, and so there's a very good chance that a number of these won't be fertile or they'll be addled. So I wanted to put all 12 on. I will candle them in 5-6 days. I'll work out what is fertile. The unfertile ones I can then remove, and if these are fertile, these 2 over here, I can pop them in here. So that is now the plan. So having thought I wasn't going to have any more chicks this year, I now have silver appleyard ducks and Chinese painted quail. Oops.